I'm back. I'm biased, I'm bothered, and I am always unfiltered. If you are easily offended, this is not the place for you. But you still haven't managed to worthy up. Not to worry, let's get into this mess. Special Forces, Season 4, Episode 5. Do you know what I'm really loving about this show? You know, at the start of every show, it comes up with kind of like a warning to warn us, like, not to do any of this at home. Now, I want to ask the people, right? Who the hell can do this at home? Has anybody got an aeroplane that's after being taken apart? Does anybody live beside a 300-foot dam? Like, obviously, nobody is doing this crap at home. Also, we're not getting followed around by a camera crew and getting paid for it. So we're seeing into the camp, right? Now, Cody is just folding his clothes. And Ravi and Nick, they're talking about how much pain they're in. Now, there's a guy called Randall, and he reckons that he has a bit of the PTSD, like from being in the special forces. So in the dorm, right, with the Foxy Billies, they're saying that they have to weed out the weaklings and that they're really going to ramp it up and try and get rid of like 3 or 4 of these people. So everybody has to gather in the square. So they're all standing there, right? And Rudy says that they have to ask themselves if they really want to be here because it's about to get harder. I thought, you know what? This guy just wants to go home to his wife, his husband, whoever it is, right? He just wants to get the hell out of there. He's done, right? It's day 5, you know? Anyway, if any of them are in any doubt, they have to turn in their armband. And Nick is like, hell yeah, here you go. You don't have to tell me twice. Now, Ravi is saying, yeah, I know. So we have said goodbye to Nick and to Ravi, right? Do you know, like they're just being told to get out. I was thinking, I hope they have a lovely hotel set up for them. You know, somewhere nice for them to go. So there's 11 recruits left. Now, Foxy Billy says that the Special Forces world is built on honesty, trust, and integrity. And when we're on a mission, we will die for each other. I thought, you're mad. I would not be dying for anybody. Like, you have to bear in mind, right? They've only known each other. This is only day 5. Like, these people don't know each other. I'm not dying for somebody I don't even know. So, Foxy Billy asked the recruits, right, who they can rely on. And he calls Brianna and he says, like, turn around and face everybody and choose basically who she doesn't want, right? Who she doesn't want to have on her team and who she would leave behind in a mission. So Brianna picks a girl called Chanel, right? Now Chanel is number 8, but now like a lot of people are picking this Chanel girl. I don't know why, right? But Gia is picked twice. Now, as you know, I do love Gia, right? But I was delighted she was picked because I didn't want this girl like to feel on her own, you know? Anyway, so now we're on our mission. Now, Brianna, Gia, and Cody are in the car together, and Gia says like that she's raging. She's raging that she picked Chanel because Chanel helped her when she was going through the tunnel. Do you remember she was having a panic attack? And Brianna is saying like, yeah, she helped me too. So these are both raging, right? It's not that they don't trust her. It's just because she's not as fit as the others. I think the wording here was very bad. Like she's just not as strong, you know? Oh my goodness. So we do see this girl Chanel in the other car with the other people like who didn't want her and she's crying. I thought, oh my God, this is awful. Anyway, we're in a remote village, right? And we're going to work. We're going to work as a team to work on our leadership and teamwork. Cody is looking very dog the bounty hunter here. He really is. So on this mission, right, we're going to be in a village and we have to carry a load of shite and get it to the other side because apparently there's an enemy like closing in on us. That's what one of the Foxy Billies are saying anyway, right? So just Team Alpha. Now their leader is going to be number 8, the girl that nobody wanted, okay? And there's Team Bravo, and their leader is going to be Andrew East. Now Team Alpha is doing crap, right? Like really doing crap because they have to lift up these huge metal boxes. And this girl Chanel, right? She just can't do it. Like she's just physically unable to do it. So Team Bravo are in the lead, and everybody is being shouted at because like they're moving all of this crap. Now there's a sound of gunfire, so it like they have this frantic energy, like when they're trying to do their mission, right? I don't know how these people aren't laughing. I would have been breaking my heart laughing, right? But Chanel, apparently she's not giving orders to her team. I tell I'm not surprised. They've all just told her like that they didn't want to be with her. Like they basically said, you know, that she's a loser. But Foxy Billy is saying to this girl, right, there's an easy way to leave. Just give me your armband. Because we know he wants to get rid of a few of them. But she's not giving it to him, right? She's not. Anyway,
Foxy Billy, one of them, right, is telling us that when you feel like your body is broken, your mind will take over. I thought that's bollocks, right? Like literally, you can only push your body so far. But Foxy Billy says that when your mind says that you can continue, your body will follow. I thought, no, it won't. Imagine telling a fucking paraplegic that. Like that's brutal. Don't be saying that, Jay. Anyway, Team Bravo is finished, right? And they finish 12 minutes later, right? Then Team Alpha finishes, okay? Like they're basically brutal. So the next set of teams are up. Now Cody is the leader of Team Bravo this time, right? And Cody is with Gia and Brianna. Now we do get a confessional from Cody. Now Cody is telling us that he does not consider himself a great leader. I thought self-aware. Very good. You are, of course, correct. Now apparently, okay, Cody is still balls deep inside of Andrew Tate and the Manosphere because he says that good quality manhood and masculinity is taking responsibility for the job that needs to be done. So, according to Cody's own rules, right, about masculinity and manhood, he is in fact brutal because we know that he can't take any responsibility. He can't even pick up the feckin' phone and call his kids. Anyway, on the new Alpha team, right? Their leader is a guy called Randy. Now, or Randy? Randall. So Randall has only recently retired from football, I think, right? Some kind of sportiness, right? So they're being hit like with grenades, like all the things. And Team Bravo's car is now hit with something, right? And a very frantic Cody is taking all of the crap out of the back of the truck. Now, I don't know why, but Cody didn't wear like his cap today. He also didn't wear a bra. The man needs one, okay? He needs something. Anyway, Cody is trying to lift something, and Gia is telling him like that she can't lift it. But so Cody then starts screaming at Gia because she's trying to lift something else like up on top of her shoulder, and he wants her to lift like this stupid box. Now Rudy is telling Cody to motivate his team, but all Cody keeps saying, right, is like, keep going, ladies. I thought that's not motivation, Cody. No, that's not motivating at all. So Brianna and Gia, right, they're saying to Cody to slow down for them. And they're telling him he needs to listen to his team. Because as we know, this mission is all about teamwork. So Team Alpha is the first to get their mission done. Now, they're still asking him, right, on Cody's team, they're still asking him to slow down. I thought, like, we're not all juice or magoosers, you know? Like, you have to wait for the other people. If you're in a team, like, that's just the way that's gonna be. Because he's just running, like, without them. So we're getting this kind of a voiceover. And Cody is saying he knows he's an intense personality, that he's loud and obnoxious. He's not the strong, silent type. I thought, I know, Cody, and that's exactly why people hate you. Like, literally, that is, you know? So, anyway, they finally get to their drop point to where they have to drop all of this crap. But I did notice Cody's arse. It's sweating again. Do you remember this guy in Mexico with the sweat all over his arse? I've never in my life seen anybody sweat like this, but I did enjoy seeing it. Anyway, the special forces people, right, are telling Cody, your team failed, right? You're a brutal leader. So Foxy Billy, one of them, right, is telling us that he can carry way more than they can carry, right? And he can get shot at, and apparently, like, you don't even feel the pain. I thought, what the hell is this man talking about? Do you know what? I feel pain for everything, right? I like to get a bit of sedation when I'm getting my teeth cleaned. What is this man talking about? He doesn't feel pain like when he's getting shot. I think you need to go to the doctor. I think you do. You need some help for that. Anyway, we're on our way back home, like to the base. Now, Chanel and Cody, these two losers, right, are sitting in the same car. So we're back, and the DS people are talking about this girl, Chanel, right? Now, apparently, she is crap. Oh, so now Chanel is getting called in for her talk. Now, this woman, right, who nobody wanted on their team, who was being told that she's a loser, like on her mission, is now getting a hood over her head. So she's inside with the Foxy Billies, right? And they're asking her how she's getting on. And I will say she's very honest, right? She says, I'm not really in shape. I wasn't expecting it to be this hard. So they're asking her, like, did it feel really shy when everybody said that they didn't want you on their team? And she says, yeah, it did actually. Oh, I felt bad for her. Anyway, we find out, okay, that this girl is a model. And she says that when she started modeling, like people, like they didn't really want her to be their model, okay, because she's a black girl. I didn't realize that, to be honest with you, okay? I just thought if you were gorgeous, tall and skinny and somebody wanted you to be the model, I didn't even think like your skin color would come into it. But anyway, she does say that she enjoys the modeling industry. Now, I will say, right, it seems very predatory. It does, right? Because she's been modeling since she was about 12 or 13. So she has seen lots of shenanigans. And she does say, right, that she's a fairly quiet person and she just tends to keep things to herself. So now she's back, like, with the hood on her feckin' head. So Chanel is telling, like, the rest of the people, like, about her talk. But I did notice, right, she's being very quiet. She doesn't really tell them anything. So I think she is, like, quite an introverted kind of person. Now, Randall is being told, right, what chores each person has to do. Now, while they're doing the chores, right, Rudy puts a box of sweets into the camp. Now, Rudy says that he's checking for people's character because it could be a box of sweets or it could be for national security. I thought, calm down, Rudy. Calm the hell down. You're not going to be putting like national security in a fucking cardboard box, you gobshite. Anyway, Gia and Chanel are inside of the camp right now. They see the box of sweets, but Chanel won't touch it. And Gia says that Gia wants it, right? But Chanel is saying, like, don't touch it. But Gia, like, sees the coconut and everything. Then Randall comes into the tent and Gia shows him, like, all the goodies. But Chanel knows that this is a trap and she's telling them, don't be touching that. But Randall is like, hell yeah, give it to me. So he's bringing the box outside and now everybody is eating all the sweets. Now, for some reason, right, Randall thinks that they got this box of sweets, right? Because the DS forces people. It's just their way of saying, like, good job. But Chanel, right, even when they're all outside, Chanel won't eat any of these. So when they're finished eating all of the sweets, Randall brings the box back in. And that's when he realizes that on the side of it, it says DS dorm, right? It says that on the side of the box. Now, if I'm Randall, okay, I would have just everything and then I would have gotten rid of this cardboard box. Like, there'd be no evidence. Oh, anyway, but that's what he does. So he's now running out to let everybody know what it says on the back of the box. But it's too bad, right? Because now everybody is worried. But they can't, like, because they have to leave for their next mission. And again, we're being told that this is the most terrifying challenge. I knew we would be told that every fucking week. So what we're going to do today is a backward dive in unison. Now, apparently, this is just like going through a door with an explosion. That's what Foxy Billy is saying. I thought, no, it's not. It's not a bit like that. I've been doing backflips since I was a kid. Not a bit like that. Anyway, they have to fall backwards at the very same time. So Rudy and Q are giving us a demonstration. Now, Foxy Billy says something, right? And I realized something because he's saying to them, okay, let's not have any hesitation. But rather than say hesitation, he says hesitation. He doesn't pronounce the letter H, which, it just popped out to me. Anyway, so the first couple of teams, like they fail, right? They're total losers, total failures. And then we get Andy and Randy, and they do actually fail. These two are miles out. So now we get Cody and Gia. Now, Gia is giving Cody lots of instructions, okay? But they do, in fact, fail. Now, I want to blame Cody for this fail, but I do actually know how a backflip works when you're doing it with somebody, so I'm just not going to say anything about it, okay? Anyway, finally, we do actually get a success. Oh my goodness. Then it's Brianna's turn, right? Now, Brianna is the odd person now, and Gia says, I'll do the backflip with you, okay? And Brianna is like, yeah, good. That's too bad, right? Because the special forces people are picking Chanel to do the backflip with Brianna. I think these two don't seem to like each other. Anyway, so Brianna and Chanel, like they're talking about when they should do their, like when they should flip, okay, basically. And everybody is staring at them. But I completely understand what Brianna is doing here because you have to decide like exactly when you're gonna go. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're counting down three, two, one, you have to decide exactly. Is it as soon as the person says one, or is it when they say one, then you go? Like that's what they're trying to do, right? Foxy Billy is telling them, right, that they did in fact pass, but just barely. I tell you, you can't just barely pass. Like you've either passed or you haven't. Anyway, now we are leaving our mission. Oh, Chanel, right? She won't even look at Brianna. So the special forces people are talking about the day's events. And apparently number 14, right? That's Randall, is crap. So he's gonna get called in for this talk. And of course we get this feckin' black hood. Anyway, they're telling this guy, right? You're very vacant, you're kinda shy, like what's holding you back? So this guy says, I'm missing my wife and my kids, and we find out that he did actually used to play football, right? So the special forces people are saying to him, just try and be in control of your emotions when you're homesick. Yeah, how the hell are you supposed to do that? So we're finding out a bit more about Randall's family, right? So last year they had a very bad house fire. And Randall was able to get all his family like out of the house, but apparently it was very close, like, and very close to death, right? So then this guy starts getting very emotional, but he starts crying. I thought, oh no, 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 not again, not again. You know I can't, because I always end up crying. Anyway, he reckons that he's being selfish by going to special forces because he should be home with his family. Now, Foxy Billy, right? They say to this guy that they're gonna make him a better father and a better husband. I thought, what the hell are you guys talking about, you lunatics? Anyway, this guy is now getting the feckin' hood like put back on his head. Anyway, we find out like he's retired from football, okay? I think he's retired because of the house fire because he is only 34. Like so that seems very young to me. Anyway, so he's telling the others right how he got on. And we're now hearing from Rudy, okay? Talking because like the recruits are out there falling for the bait because they ate the sweets that were in the box. Now I'm looking at Foxy Billy and Q. These are feckin' delighted, okay? They're delighted that the others took the sweets. I can tell by the look on their face. So now everybody is being called outside for punishment because they had the cheek to eat a few sweets. So Rudy is reminding us that nobody wanted Chanel on the team, just in case this girl was feeling in any way better about herself, right? We're going to remind her. Now, Rudy has shown them the empty box, but immediately, right? Immediately, this guy Randall puts up his hand, right? And he says, it's my fault, right? It's my fault. So the special forces people are asking, did anybody tell you not to touch it? So Gia, right, I have to say, Gia's skin is looking gorgeous here. It really is. Gia says, right, Chanel told me not to touch the sweets. So they're being asked, why did they eat the sweets? I thought, what a stupid question. They seen the sweets, they wanted the sweets, they're all adults, so they ate the sweets. What a stupid question to ask, okay? Also, they've probably been eating like really bland food. Anyway, Rudy is letting us know that the definition of honesty is doing the right thing when nobody else is looking. I thought, Rudy, you are in fact incorrect. He's wrong because that's actually the definition of integrity. Anyway, now Chanel, you know the girl that nobody wanted, now Chanel is being called up to look at everybody else because these are all going to get dunked in the tank, right, for taking all the sweets. But that's not good enough. They're in the tank, right? It's not good enough to be dunked because now they have to put their head under the water. So Rudy is then, right, asking Chanel, Chanel, because you were voted least trustworthy this morning, who are you going to choose as the least trustworthy now? And you know what she did? She picked Brianna. I thought, no, Chanel, no, step back into the light, step back into the light, girl. Go and pick Cody Brown. Anyway, she picked Brianna basically because Brianna picked her earlier. So now Brianna has to get into this wooden cage, right? And the special forces people are asking who else feels like they should be in the cage. And Gia just puts up her hand, right? And she's just like going into this cage. I thought, what in the ever loving Stockholm syndrome is going on here? This is craziness. Because now Randall is putting up his hand. I thought, fucking hell. Anyway, Rudy is saying, right, that special forces punishment are severe. I thought that's grand, but when do you ever have a bit of crack? Like, why would anybody join this? Like, when do you ever have fun? Anyway, so there's a bucket of like really stinky water. And each person, okay, is going to get to throw a bucket of water over the prisoners in the cage. And then Rudy says, right, we use shame to retain. I thought the fuck are you talking about, Rudy? You're reading way too much Lord of the Flies. I'll tell you that. Anyway, they're picking up the water, but this is what I noticed, right? Because Cody Brown is the first one in to fill his bucket and throw it. But not only that, he then fills up his bucket again, but he's throwing it on Brie. I thought that's not how you get yourself a wife. No, it's not. Anyway, these are all heading back into the camp, but not the three stooges, right? They're just out there in the wooden cage. Now, the girls are saying that they should have trusted Chanel, but I want to remind you, right? I want to remind you, they don't dislike this girl, right? They don't. They just didn't think that she was as strong as the others, and now they're just out here, like, a prisoner of war in this fucking in this wooden cage. But then I seen something, okay? And it's a mud fight with Cody Brown. But I'm looking at Brie, and she just looks like Brianna just looks like she's kicking somebody into the rib or something. And Cody Brown looks like he's getting battered. And I thought, thank you, God. God never lets me down. He knew I needed to see that. Anyway, that is our recap. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, go ahead and hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great day.